Ever open your wallet, see a few thousand XRP and think, wait, could this tiny stack actually change my life? Well, hold on to that thought, because what I learned this week blew my mind, and it might just flip yours inside out too. So picture this. I'm on my third coffee, extra shot obviously, scrolling late night crypto Twitter when a notification pops up. Good evening, crypto is live. Now I click and there are, Abdullah, Abs, Nazif and Johnny, practically vibrating with excitement over what it could take to mint a fresh crop of XRP millionaires within, get this, just 12 to 24 months. Now, I lean in because if that timeline were a pizza delivery, it would still be hot by the time that it arrived. Now, they start rattling off some numbers, Senate hearings and something called the Crypto Clarity Act. And suddenly, my caffeine isn't the only thing making my heart race. First, Abs drops the bomb, right? Brad Garlinghouse, yep, that's the Ripple CEO, who could probably run a marathon in a suit. And he actually headed over to Capitol Hill, and it was the Senate Banking Committee, no less. Meanwhile, of course, the House is dusting off the Crypto Clarity Act in a couple of weeks, or actually pretty close to when this video goes live. Now, the way that Abs kind of tells it, Wall Street and the banking sector are circulating XRP like seagulls eyeing a beach picnic. Now, if clarity lands, he says, price could rocket faster than a toddler on a sugar rush. Now, the relatable problem number one, most of us mere mortals don't exactly have institutional-sized wallets. So how do we ride the same rocket without getting vaporized by lunch? Abs, well, backs it up with the XRP rich list. Yeah, that's the leaderboard that turns hodling into a competitive sport. Right now, clutching just 2,500 XRP, it plants you in the global top 10%. That used to be a $500 flex last November, but today it's actually north of $5,000. So slide up to the top 1% and you actually need 51,300 XRP, basically enough digital coins to make Scrooge McDuck jealous. But Abs's point here is that the door to the VIP lounge, it is actually still open, but the bouncer is rising the kind of cover charge by the hour. And that is when Johnny kind of jumps in with the kind of tag team partner, or like the tag team partner, with a folding chair of truth. Now, he kind of splits XRP's future into two clear phases: speculation and utility. Now, in the spec land, regulation rings the bell, the hype kind of floods in, and price kind of blooms just because people anticipate a new status quo. Utility actually comes later, when XRP is actually kind of greasing the pipes of global payments. Now, according to Johnny's whiteboard math, and yes, he actually drew it out, right? If kind of spec mania lifts XRP to $10, well, you need around 100,000 coins to join the millionaire club. Now, if enthusiasm kind of overheats to, say, $54, you only need 18,000 XRP to kind of punch your ticket. Now, split the difference to $25 and that's 40,000 coins will still nudge you over the 7-figure line. Now that delta, it kind of hit me like a cold plunge, because 18,000 XRP today is roughly 41 grand. It's pricey, sure, but it's not sell a kidney on the dark web kind of pricey. And Johnny's kind of quick to point out, as regulation kind of clicks into place, big firms, they won't just watch from the bleachers. They're going to jump on the kind of field with balanced sheet buy orders that can swallow retail supply whole. The translation is that every day of hesitation is a day the market kind of sprints ahead in track spikes while you're still trying on your kind of sneakers. Now, I'm a bit of a sucker for a metaphor. You may have know that, right? So let's think of crypto train, at least the crypto train, as a classic kind of steam locomotive, right? Bitcoin's already roaring down the tracks so fast that the whistle sounds like a scream. Now, for XRP to kind of repeat Bitcoin's decade-long journey, it doesn't need to invent a teleportation device. Just hop on the very same rails and, keep shoveling coal. Now, Abs points out Bitcoin would need a $2 trillion extra market cap to just double in price. XRP is only 130 billion. Now, that's kind of like comparing a humpback whale to a dolphin, right? Both kind of breach, but one, requires a whole lot less water displacement to make a splash. So you can cue my relatable challenge then, right? I'm sitting there crunching my own holdings, chewing the end of a pen like the 90s rom-com lead, wondering if my stack even counts. And the spoiler is that it does, just maybe not enough. So I pulled up Kraken Pro, the affiliate link that's in the description, by the way. Grabbing your XRP there really does help support the channel at no extra cost to yourself. And what I start doing is calculating how many clicks it would take to inch closer to Johnny's magic number, or numbers, depending on how you want to look at it. Now, meanwhile, of course, our free educational Discord server, also linked down below, is buzzing with folk who are doing the exact same math, right? Swapping screenshots for proud, or at least like proud parents showing their baby photos. And then, smack dab in my calculations, Abs delivers a storytelling climax that feels like a direct punch to the FOMO glands. Now, he reminds listeners that last year, snagging 2,500 XRP was pocket change for many. Fast forward, and that tiny pile would now cost 10 times more. So if XRP kind of hits $50, a top 1% bag to $5 million, right? Now, suddenly 25,000 XRP, the amount that Abs personally kind of believes could cross millionaire status, it sounds less like moon boy hype and more like a politely kind of tapped shoulder saying, dude, are you coming or are you staying behind? And this is kind of where I pause the stream. I stare into the digital abyss and wrestle with my oldest emotion in crypto, regret prevention. Now that voice whispering, remember when you shrugged at Bitcoin at $200? Well, don't be that guy again. Now nervously, I kind of unpaused just in time to hear Johnny's rallying cry. He says, act now because the bargain window is sliding shut. Now he isn't pitching snake oil, he's actually pointing at a clock counting down to regulatory liftoff. And the second hand, apparently it's sprinting. Mid-monologue, I realized that I haven't addressed the elephant, the donkey, and the entire barnyard in the room. That's risk. So let's do the grown-up thing here. And this one, it might just shock you, but I'm not a financial advisor and nothing in this video is financial advice. Cryptocurrencies are highly volatile and you could lose all of the money that you invest. You should always do your own research and consult a qualified professional. After all, your investments are entirely your responsibility, and you should know that nothing is ever guaranteed when it comes to investing. Neither I, this channel, nor YouTube are liable for any losses, and this video today is for entertainment and educational purposes only. So there you go, right? We said it, because roulette chips and digital coins share one superpower. They both disappear if luck kisses someone else. Now, that disclaimer is out of the way. Let's circle back to the nuts and the bolts, right? The rich list isn't some dusty old spreadsheet. It's a living scoreboard. And right now, 2,500 XRP may feel like trivia, but historically, trivia has a habit of turning into life-changing trivia. Now, Nazif even kind of jokes that if breaking into the top 1% soon could require CEO level starter kit money. So here's a quick thought experiment then. Imagine your future self holding a latte that costs more than today's entire order of 1,000 XRP. It sounds absurd. So did paying, $10 for a single Bitcoin once upon a time. So let's zoom in on Johnny's kind of two-phase thesis then, because that's kind of where the real suspense lives, right? Phase one, speculation. Think of it like the trailer before a blockbuster. Giant explosions, big names on the screen. Everyone's buying tickets before they even know what the plot is. Regulations come out, media frenzies hit, and price ramps from anticipation alone. Now, utility hasn't even clocked in yet, but wallets are already sweating. Then phase 2, the actual usage, cross-border payments, banking rails, ISO 20022 upgrades, and suddenly XRP isn't a lottery ticket, it's plumbing. It's the copper pipe behind your very wall. It's invisible but essential, and pipes, they get paid by the gallon. So here's the crossroads. Do you accumulate before speculation? Ride just the speculation, or hold all the way to utility? Now, my personal strategy looks like packing for a camping trip. It's kind of layered. I kind of bought a starter pile back when my barber still kind of called crypto internet Chuck E. Cheese. Tokens, that is, of course. And then I kind of added booster bags during market dips, each time kind of promising myself that I was finally done. Spoiler, I'm never done. But hearing Johnny kind of peg 18,000 to 40,000 XRP tokens as a realistic dream stops me from panic shopping 100k out of sheer greed. So it kind of keeps things human-sized, heavy enough to matter, light enough not to bankrupt me if the rocket has a faulty ignition. Okay, it's around here that I toss in a really kind of quick reality check. To kind of gather 18,000 XRP today, you're going to be shilling out roughly at least the price of what a mid-ranged car would cost. That's terrifying or thrilling depending on how you spin the wheel. Yet people drop that on vehicles that kind of depreciate faster than overripe avocados. Now, at least XRP has an upside scenario, right, where the car ends up just buying you. And for anyone screaming, I missed it, Abs' own timeline shows momentum can be brutal but also forgiving. A year ago, $500 ranked you in the top 10%. That door, it's gone, but a new door now exists for those willing to knock before they slam shut too. So let me sprinkle some humor before my palms are sweating from just kind of recounting the numbers. Right, thinking about hitting 25,000 XRP reminds me of stacking chairs after a church potluck, right? Feels endless until you're suddenly done. You look around and realize the hall is empty, right? The question is, will you still be stacking when Wall Street kind of suits stroll in? Quietly kind of pushing prices up while humming elevator music. Now, I'd rather finish my chair stacking before they arrive so that I can greet them with a very smug, I saved you a seat, my bags are packed. Now, speaking of packing, if you're itching to take action, remember, Kraken Pro is where I make the magic happen. Again, it's an affiliate link that's down below. It costs you absolutely nothing, but every trade through that link tosses a few crumbs into the channel jar so that we can upgrade from instant noodles to, well, some fancy instant noodles. And if you're kind of overwhelmed, our totally free Discord is the campfire where brainy nerds and curious newbies swap tactics, memes, and occasionally pictures of pets lying next to price charts. You can come in and lurk, you can ask, you can vent. There's no judgment, just pure education. The link is cuddled right next to the Kraken Pro link so that you can't miss it. Now, the light bulb moment in Abs and Johnny's conversation, the real climax. It was not a number, it was just perspective. Now, Abs says that XRP doesn't need miracles. It only needs to echo Bitcoin's historical pattern. That's the kind of difference between planning for a moonshot launch versus boarding a commercial flight that's already scheduled. Now, XRP's route might be delayed on the tarmac, but the destination airport, it exists. The runway lights are on and air traffic control, that's regulators in this analogy, are actually finally clearing the skies. So you decide if you're comfortable grabbing a seat before takeoff. Turbulence be damned. And look, right, I know that there's a laundry list of unknowns. Will Congress actually pass the Crypto Clarity Act? Will Garlinghouse's testimony sway any skeptical senators, I should say, or just create sound bites for crypto Twitter? I think we know the answer to that one. But how freakishly fast can institutional desks really absorb liquidity? Right, we just don't know. We can't know. And what we do have are probabilities and possibilities. Now, Johnny's kind of midline $25, it won't buy anyone a private island, but it reshapes retirements, it pays mortgages, it funds crazy gap year kind of backpacking trips. The $1 million mark is just a psychological trophy. Like kind of bench pressing 3 plates at the gym. Functional? Maybe. Motivating? Absolutely. So my takeaway after the kind of stream kind of felt oddly calm, I kind of don't need to YOLO my life savings. I need a plan, a threshold, and a discipline to execute before market front runners, front runs my courage. So tonight I kind of penciled a goal, 25,000 XRP, achievable if I DCA through dips, skip impulsive gadgets, and raid the kind of takeout coffee line item maybe a little bit more often. And if, of course, price fireworks never ignite, well, worst case, I own an asset that still fascinates me. Best case, well, let's say I'll be shooting this show from a location with far more coconuts than my current backdrop. All right, here's a deep breath, tea sip, big stretch, let's kind of land the plane, right? The clock is ticking on regulation talks, right? Rich list thresholds are creeping north, and there is a lot of volatility that is basically the cover charge to enter crypto's VIP room. Whether you chase 18,000, 40,000, or even the full 100,000 XRP dream, remember, you're not competing against whales. You're just racing your own procrastination. And hey, if you're still on the fence, come and hang out in the Discord, eavesdrop on the strategy chatter, ask your dumb questions, although there's a spoiler alert, there are never any dumb questions, and see if the vibe kind of lights a spark.